Good day, gents. Yesterday you had an introduction to the cash receipt journal, and today I'm going to do activity 1 on page 20 together with you guys so that you can learn how to do it. Okay, so whenever the company or the business receives money, it's important to go and write it up in the cash receipts journal since we need to keep record of all the cash we receive. Okay, so turn to page 20 and 21 and then we'll do it together. They tell us to record the following transactions in the cash receipts journal and then also to close off the journal on 31 May. So let's go and look at the transactions. On the first, they tell us Ms. Smith made a capital contribution of 700,000 to start a business, Green Fern Garden Services. The amount was deposited in the bank account of the business. Issued receipt number 1 to her. Okay, so let's go and look at the cash receipts journal. If you're still confused with all the different columns, just go and watch the video of yesterday again, but I'll go through it as we do it now. The document number. So they tell us issued receipt number 1 to her. So that tells us it's document number 1. Then which day was it? It was the 1st. And then the details from who did we receive the money? It was from Miss Smith. And then we receive the money, and whenever we receive money into the business, you have to go and write it up in the analysis of receipts column. So we go and write there the total of 700,000. And at the end of the day, you go and write it up in the bank column, since that is when you're going to deposit it in the bank. So if you receive the money at the beginning of the day, you're going to wait till the end of the day before you go and deposit it. Okay, and for what was this 700,000? It was a capital contribution from the owner. So in our sundry accounts, we're going to go and write 700,000 for capital. Why did we write it over there? That is because we did not have a column over here for capital. If we had a column over here for capital, we would have gone and written it in the capital column. But no, it's not over here, so we're going to go and write it in the sundry accounts. Okay, so let's move on to the next transaction. On the 3rd, we received 15,600 for garden services rendered according to cash register roll. Okay, in the video of yesterday you will have seen that whenever we do services and we have registered the cash register roll, we go and make this sign at the document number, like a tick. And that is on the 3rd, and when we render services, there's going to be too many different customers and so on, so we're only going to write in the details services rendered. We don't need to specify who was the client because we do that on a daily basis so many times. Then we receive the money into the business. That means we have to put it in our analysis of receipts column. So that's an amount of 15,600. And then at the end of the day, we went to deposit it in the bank at 15,600. That's why we write it up in the bank column as well. Then for what was this 15,600, excuse me? That was for services rendered, and services rendered links to the account current income because it's an income that we have on a daily basis and happens quite frequently. So in our current income column, we go and write up the amount 15,600. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. On the 7th, cash received for services rendered 12,800. Cash received for services rendered. So we're going to do the tick again. On the 7th, once again, the details will be services rendered, not the person. And then on our analysis of receipts, we write in the money we received for 12,800, and at the end of the day, they deposited it into the bank. So in the bank column, 12,800. And once again, services rendered links to current income, 12,800. Then on the 16th, according to the cash register roll, services were rendered 19,000. So once again, there's our document number on the 16th. Once again, it was for services rendered. So we're going to write services rendered in the details column. The amount that we received was 19,000. So in our analysis of receipts column, we're going to write up to 19,000. At the end of the day, we deposited into the bank 19,000. Services rendered also links to current income, so that's 19,000 in the current income column. Okay guys, very important, you will also see in the next activity when there are two transactions on one day, we're going to receive money twice in the day. So for instance, let's say there was another transaction here on the 7th. Then we would have the 12,800 in the analysis of receipts column, but not in the bank for the first transaction. Why? Because we're only going to go and deposit the total money for the day in the bank at the end of the day. So let's say, for instance, there was another transaction on the 7th, then we would have added up the two analysis of receipts amounts, and then at the end of the day we would have written it up in the bank column, the total of the two transactions on the day, and then we will only deposit it in the bank. Okay, so let's go and close off the journal. How do we do that? We just add up the bank column. You don't have to do the analysis of receipts because it will be the same thing as bank, and that gives us an amount of 747,400. The current income column will give us an amount of 47,400, and the sundry accounts will be a total of 700,000. Just add your lines here. Sorry, I don't have a ruler with me now, so it's going to be a bit unneat. But also those two lines have to be drawn. So then you will see that basically bank equals the current income column and the sundry accounts column, and that will be always like that in the cash receipts journal. Okay, gents, now you can do exercise 2 for the next day or when it is on the planning. If you have any questions regarding the cash receipts journal, feel free to ask your teacher. Have a nice day, gents.